Good morning, and thank you again for joining us today for another workshop in our summer series. Today, we're going to talk about graduate fellowship opportunities that are administered through the graduate school. This will help you as these opportunities open up during the fall semester with deadlines approaching that you'll be able to help advise and guide your students in the right direction. So what we will cover today are a handful of opportunities: the University Teaching Assistantship, the University Graduate Research Fellowship, the Stephenson Cannon Fellowship and Scholarship, the Mariner Eccles Graduate Research Fellowship in Political Economy, the Kershaw Foundation Fellowship, the Stockham Medal, the Cutler Energy Prize, and then some mechanics about how the application is facilitated. We'll chat for a minute about reviewers and then some about advising and upcoming programming. So the first on the list, University Teaching Assistantship. This is a program, it's about 27 years old, is designed to serve the mission of enriching graduate student training while enhancing undergraduate education. So your students will propose a course that is creative and innovative, a solution to a concern with undergraduate education, a creative opportunity to enhance undergraduate education. That is an important facet to point out here, is the courses that are being proposed have to be undergraduate education. They cannot be for other graduate students. UTAs, University Teaching Assistants, receive a combined fall spring salary of $10,000 or $20,100. That's this year's salary, so there may be an increase for next year, or this is the 2022-2023, so there will likely be a modest increase for 23-24. The salary can be used as tuition benefit support if the student is eligible. So if the student has already exhausted their tuition benefit eligibility, they would not be able to be on tuition benefit unless the department utilized extended tuition benefit. And the students will have the option of subsidized health insurance. The department may endorse up to 2 candidates for the University Teaching Assistantship. The deadlines for this upcoming cycle for 2023-2024 is student application being due in the middle of December, with 1 week later the department endorsements and the recommendations being due. We anticipate in this presentation, I will be having proposed deadlines, but we don't have the open date yet. It should be early September. I am waiting for the University Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid to release their timeline of when we will be able to open up on the academic work system. So everything will be opened as quickly as possible, and then deadlines will be between December and January, depending on the opportunity. The Graduate Research Fellowship is a 1-year non-renewable research fellowship with the intent to promote a focus on students completing their research for their thesis, their dissertation, whether they are in the data collection and experiment portion or they're in the writing portion. This is for students who are pursuing a PhD or a terminal degree. So MFA, for example, would be eligible for this. Quals or comps must be completed by the beginning of the fellowship's year. So by the first day of fall 2023, qualifying and comprehensive exams must be completed. Students are expected to limit their employment with inflation, rising cost of housing, etc. We understand that students, even on a fellowship, will need employment, but we anticipate and have the expectation that with a few exceptions, students who are on the research fellowship will limit their employment to only what is necessary in order to reach the intent of this fellowship, which is to focus on their research. GRFs receive a fellowship of $20,000 that is split between the fall semester and the spring semester in lump sums as dispersed through the scholarship administration system. These stipends may be used as tuition benefit support if the student is eligible. Same with University Teaching Assistantship. If the student still has tuition benefit eligibility, the GRF can be used as that minimum support. If the student does not have any eligibility, then there is no tuition benefit for the student unless the department puts them on extended tuition benefit. Students will then have the option of subsidized health insurance as well. And similar to the UTA, departments may endorse up to 2 candidates. The deadlines are students submitting their application no later than December 16th. Recommendation deadline, letters of recommendation deadline, December 23rd, and department endorsement deadline is December 23rd. So a quick moment to speak to the department endorsements. Departments can endorse up to 2 UTA candidates and 2 GRF candidates. So between the 2 awards, that's 4 students that can be endorsed each year. I have ran some statistics over the last 5 years, and this past cycle for the upcoming year, 2022-2023, out of more than 60 academic departments eligible to endorse students, we had 22 departments endorsing 29 candidates for the teaching assistantship and 39 departments endorsing 63 GRF candidates. So there's a lot of room for departments to who are not utilizing the opportunity to endorse students if they so choose. The opportunity is here, and we do want to have a diverse group of applicants from all corners of campus. The application does require a letter of endorsement from the chair or the chair's designee, noting that this is one of our 2 UTA candidates or one of our 2 GRF candidates. So students who are pursuing this should be the ones selected by their department or given the blessing of the department. I do sometimes get department chair endorsements that say, by no means do we endorse this student. So you want to utilize the opportunity as best as you can. And if you have someone other than the department chair doing the endorsements, such as the director of graduate studies or someone else from faculty that has been appointed, the student will need that information. They will need to input the email address in the application system for whomever that is. And it is also the prerogative of the department to determine their own internal application or vetting mechanism if you choose. So some departments have an internal application where students will submit their proposal to the department, and the department will say these 2 candidates moving forward. Others, it's a discussion among faculty. Okay, the Stephenson Cannon Graduate Fellowship. This is a donor-funded fellowship that is designed to enable students to pursue excellence in their chosen fields without the weighty burden of employment. Similar to the other awards, we do have the expectation that if you receive this fellowship that you limit employment, but we understand that employment is oftentimes necessary, so just limit it to just what is necessary. This is limited to graduate students in the College of Education and the College of Humanities. And this is a stipend of $20,000, half fall, half spring. And it includes full tuition coverage up to 12 graduate credits and this option of subsidized health insurance. The tuition coverage is through the fellowship program, not through tuition benefit. So students who receive this will not have to utilize tuition benefit, and the departments will not have to process that. Student application deadline will be January 6th, and then recommendations due January 13th. For this particular opportunity, education and humanities colleges will have the opportunity to vet the applicants and select the finalists that go to the Dean's Committee. So the graduate school does focus, of course, on graduate education, but we do have a few undergraduate opportunities that we administer, namely the Stephenson Cannon Undergraduate Scholarship, only because it is in conjunction with the Stephenson Cannon Graduate Fellowship. Otherwise, we do not administer undergraduate financial aid or scholarship aid in this office. Similar to the fellowship, this is a scholarship designed to help students pursue excellence, pursue their studies without too much of a financial burden. And this is limited to undergraduate students in the College of Education and the College of Humanities. And this is a cash award of $10,000, $5,000 in the fall, $5,000 in the spring. Both Stephenson Cannon Awards are also open to students of any discipline who are a descendant of Ellen Stephenson Cannon. And that is noted on our website, and generally students who are descendants pursuing the opportunity, they've been briefed by their family on how to pursue it, or they reach out to me. But if you have anyone reaching out to you saying I'm a descendant, just send them my direction. So similar to the fellowship, the application deadline for the undergraduate scholarship is January 6th, recommendations January 13th, and the colleges of education and humanities will be able to vet their own applicants from each college and select the finalists that go to the combined committee. The Mariner S. Eccles Graduate Research Fellowship in Political Economy. This is a dissertation completion fellowship limited to PhD students and Masters of Legal Studies students. Eligible students must be pursuing a research degree that relates to political economy. Your research must relate to political economy, which includes the following areas of study: business, finance, banking, economics, education, particularly as it relates to policy and the economy, healthcare, particularly as it relates to policy and the economy, humanities, social science, law, and legal studies. And the research must emphasize the relationship among politics, public policy, and the economy. The committee, which includes members of the Eccles family, they would like to see a diversity of students here. If you have students who have research that relates to policy and economy and politics in one dimension or another that fit into these different areas: social science, humanities, healthcare policy, business, economics, etc., please encourage your students to pursue this, provided they meet the other eligible requirements: PhD, research-based, nearing the completion of their dissertation. The fellowship is designed to bolster students in their final year of the capstone. So students who are still in the process of doing their data collection at the time of writing their proposal for the fellowship, or who do require more than 1 year to reach completion beyond 2023, 2024, might not be the strongest of applicants for this. The idea is this fellowship year, wrap things up, defend, and ready to graduate. Fellows receive $25,000 fellowship, half in the fall, half in the spring. Similarly to other fellowships, students are expected to limit employment, but of course we understand a little bit of employment may be necessary. Tuition coverage up to 12 graduate credits. This is outside of tuition benefit, so no tuition benefit eligibility is required, and the option of subsidized health insurance. Student application deadline is January 6th and recommendation deadline January 13th. The Kershaw Foundation Fellowship. This is an exciting new donor-funded opportunity here at the University of Utah. 2022-2023 is our first pilot year, and next year, the 23-24 cycle will be the second year of the pilot before the foundation determines if this is going to be a more permanent fixture on our campus or not. So this is a 2-year fellowship for incoming PhD students in life science disciplines. So science, health, medicine, pharmacy, the areas relating to life science. Biomedical engineering is also included in this. Students should be high performing and high potential students as defined by the program. And the fellowship may be used to help secure admission acceptance. So the nominations will be, the call for nominations will come when committees are reviewing candidates and making admissions decisions of who to offer a seat in the program to. And we hope that the timelines will overlap so that you can offer this at the same time as you are offering admission to the student. The fellows receive a competitive fellowship stipend. This is going to be competitive relative to the discipline. So when the nominations come in, the dean will indicate for this program, this is going to be a top competitive stipend, and that request will be a part of the nomination. Full tuition coverage up to 12 credits. Again, this is outside of tuition benefit eligibility, and the option of subsidized health insurance. Kershaw fellowships, fellows are selected by nomination rather than by application. So there's no application for students to fill out. Nominations will be at the discretion of the relevant dean. I'll be soliciting nominations from deans in November, with the nominations due in January, and we will have a second round of nominations just because offers go out to students. These are your top students who have other top offers as well. So students do decline our offer of fellowship and admission for other opportunities. So we do have a second round of nominations for that purpose. Something that I failed to put in the slide here, but will be on the, or it is on the slide, I just skipped over it. Students must be international and or female identifying. The Kershaw Foundation, the Cheryl and Kay Kershaw Foundation, are focusing on international students and female students. So that is where that requirement comes from. So for the most part, our nominations for this upcoming academic year have been international females, but you can have domestic females and international males as well, as far as the student identifies. And of course, through our university records, that is how the student self-identifies. The Stockham Medal for Conspicuously Effective Teaching. That's just really fun to say, conspicuously effective teaching. This award recognizes teaching excellence among our graduate students. This is for graduate students in all graduate disciplines who have worked in a teaching assistantship or some other instructional capacity as related to their graduate training. This doesn't have to be like the UTA, where it's exclusively undergraduate education that they're serving, just good teaching in general, grad or undergrad. And when the students apply, this is one of those awards that are going to be at the nudge of a professor. So Joe, Jane, please apply for this because I want to nominate you for this. And the students will have the faculty member nominating them submit a letter of nomination as a part of that. Students receive a scholarship of $1,000. This is a cash scholarship, and will be presented with an engraved medal, which for grad students, I think this is actually kind of cool and kind of fun. It's a medal with Thomas Stockham's picture on it, and then the student's name will be engraved, and then the crest of the university to recognize conspicuously effective teaching. Student applications will be due on January 27th, and the recommendation and nomination deadline will be February 3rd. The Cutler Energy Prize. This award recognizes research of graduate students as it relates to energy. Energy is broadly defined and does include, outside of areas like physics and chemistry and such, the usual areas where energy is being researched and discussed, to also include ecological, sociological, and public policy and legal areas of study. For students to apply, they would submit a manuscript of an article relating to their energy research. So this can be a copy of a published article or a preprint, a manuscript of something that will soon be published in a peer-reviewed journal. Students can be co-authors. This is a question I get every year. Does a student have to be the sole author, or can they be a co-author? They can be a co-author. However, the faculty mentor will need to indicate in their letter of recommendation an approximation of the percentage of the work the student did for this. So if there are two co-authors and the student did the bulk of the work, then noting 75, 80, whatever that estimated percentage would be. If the student is one of 12 co-authors, you'll need to indicate what level of involvement that student had in that article. Recipients receive a $1,500 scholarship. This is a cash scholarship as well. Application deadline is January 27th, and the recommendation deadline is February 3rd. Between the Stockham Medal and the Cutler Energy Prize, we receive very few applications a year. And there are some years that these awards go unawarded because of no applicants. So please encourage your students to pursue these opportunities. Please encourage your faculty, particularly with the Stockham Medal, to nominate students, identify those students who are outstanding teachers. Okay. So other than the Kershaw Fellowship, which is by nomination, all these opportunities that I have discussed are through the Academic Works online application, which is the University of Utah's centralized application portal for students. 99% of all aid, of all scholarship aid through the University of Utah that requires an application is through Academic Works. So it really bodes well for the student to go in because it connects them to other opportunities as well. So the student must complete the general application, which is they get an application, it comes up general application. Some colleges like nursing or engineering or business have a secondary application that they may be required to fill out by their area of study. Students will then be able to search for and apply to specific opportunities. They'll be able to search for the Cutler Energy Prize, for the Graduate Research Fellowship and such once they complete the general application. And based on how they self-identify in the general application and sometimes a secondary application, other opportunities based on their profile will auto-match them, saying this is recommended that you apply for this as well. So it's good for the students to be utilizing this portal as much as possible. As mentioned, these deadlines are tentative. I do anticipate opening all of these opportunities in Academic Works as early as possible in September. That's all I've gotten from Scholarships and Financial Aid Office is it will be available to open up for 23-24 cycle in September. Yes. Faculty reviewers, this is always a fun conversation here. Our reviews process depends on faculty volunteers to serve on our review committees. This is a great opportunity for faculty in general, but specifically more junior faculty who may be new to campus or may be new to advising graduate students in certain different elements of the graduate student experience. This can be a great opportunity to learn about the process, to be a part of the process, and to see for themselves what good applications versus not as good applications look like, and then be able to take that experience back to enhance their advising of students in the future, as well as advising fellow faculty members on the advisement of students pursuing these opportunities. Many hands make light work. We aim for faculty to review no more than 8 applications per committee, but that does mean we need volunteers to meet the capacity of our applications. We do have an expectation of representation from all colleges, and nearing the time for setting up committees, if we do not find that we have volunteers from certain colleges, we do ask the deans of those colleges to volunteer some faculty for the committee reviews. So if you have an interest or you have colleagues who are interested, let me know by emailing fellowships@gradschool.utah.edu to let me know that you're interested in being a faculty reviewer. And this is primarily for the UTA and the GRF. And then we do select a few individuals for the Cutler and the Stockham Medal for conspicuously effective teaching. Fellowship advising is also a service that my office does provide for our graduate students, as well as rising seniors applying for graduate awards like the NSF GRFP as an example. Services include planning your strategy, finding those opportunities, coaching the students through the process, how to develop that timeline, what needs to be done 3 months ahead of time, 1 month ahead of time, etc. Coaching them through the writing and also providing feedback on their drafts. Students can make appointments by emailing me at fellowships@gradschool.utah.edu. I also do provide programming. We've just finished up our summer NSF GRFP application preparation series, and we will be having additional programming in the future for that specific program. I will be doing info sessions for the awards that we talked about today for students to come, and as well as faculty to come as well to learn a little bit more about the UTA, the GRF, but specifically for students to talk about the application process and such. But other programming that I anticipate facilitating this upcoming year includes Fulbright. This is actually through Dr. Howard Lehman, who's the director of the Fulbright Academy here on campus, the Ford Foundation Pre-Doc Fellowship, the Soros Fellowship for New Americans, and the AAUW Fellowship opportunities. They've got a handful of different fellowship opportunities that are lucrative for our students. So as information comes out to you on the DOGS list, the grad advisor list, the coordinator list, please share this with your faculty. Please share this with students as eligible and appropriate. So that's the end of our presentation. We have one more workshop in our summer series, which is a tuition benefit and fellowship Q&A. So I will be soliciting ahead of August 3rd different questions or concerns that you might have that I can just build into a presentation of frequently asked questions. But there will be plenty of time during that workshop for you to simply bring forward your concerns, bring forward your questions, as we will be knee deep in preparation for the fall semester, which will begin 2 weeks before that, or 2 weeks after this workshop. This could be an ideal time to address any concerns that you do have. And as always, please reach out to me with any questions or concerns that you might have as relating to tuition benefit or graduate fellowships and such. So at this point, the time is now yours for any questions that you have relating to the fellowship opportunities that we have discussed today. And you can raise your hand and unmute yourself. You can pop a question into the chat box in general or to me privately if you do not want it to be shared with the entire group. But at this time, it is now your opportunity for any questions or concerns that you have. And as you are coming up with these questions, whether typing or raising your hand, I am putting together one-page solicitations on each of these opportunities that we've discussed today. These will be out to faculty, directors of grad studies, and grad advisors specifically as soon as I can get them out. They don't have the application links on it yet because, as mentioned, the applications are not yet opened. But this is ideal for you to take to your faculty retreats to talk about coaching your students and supporting your students with the UTA, the GRF, and such for the upcoming year. That was a big piece of feedback I received in the last cycle is please give us some resources that we can take to our faculty retreats and we can discuss as faculty before the year starts so we can have a plan for fellowships as they relate to the grad school fellowships. So that will be out shortly. This video will be on our website for you and your colleagues to refer back to if you so choose it, along with this presentation. So with that, the time is now yours with any questions or comments that you have. Okay, so looks like there might not be any questions. I'll go ahead and stop recording at this point. And I thank you all for joining us here today, and we'll see you on August 3rd. Enjoy the rest of your July.